I just poured you some tea.
Thank you, dear. Are we lumped?
Yes.
You're lumped. Oh,
You got a
fantastic.
tea lump.
Thank you, dear. You spoil me.
Inside.
You spoil me.
Is your mic on?
Your mic isn't on. Shall I turn you on, dear?
I don't know how to do it.
You just got to press the right button. That's all it comes down to.
And I've heard it said.
And wait for a green light.
I think the green light's important.
It is. You know, for one who can never spot a red flag,
I can't spot a red flag.
one must see a green light from time to time.
Definitely.
Cheers, my love.
Thank you. Good morning.
And good morning to you, dear viewers.
Nice eyes, Abby.
Oh, thank you.
That's a great colour.
Thank you. I just topped it from last night a little bit.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't do
that. Because, you know, who wants to be messing about with removing makeup at gone midnight? Or gone 1 in your case, isn't
Yeah,
it?
1:30 last night I got in.
Oofed.
Yeah, and no parking, obviously.
Oops.
I had to walk home.
I have parked directly in front of Clarice today.
Oh, nice work. Nice work. Clarice is my car, by the way.
Our car twins are together.
Yeah, happy
I say
at
twins,
last.
you know, they look nothing like each other other than they're blue.
Yeah, and they are cars. And they have 4 wheels.
Wheel in each corner, all the important stuff.
Yes.
But other than that, they could be twins.
They could be twins.
We've started off.
Cars could be twins. Our cars would be
absolutely
fraternal twins.
Yes.
Yes.
Or at the very least, you know, distant cousins who are besties.
Yeah, because they are different flavours.
They are very different flavours.
Yes. Yeah. But lovely.
Absolutely lovely. Would you care for a morning treat, dear?
Oh?
Now, you quite often offer me a morning knob.
I do.
And you know that's not really my thing.
No.
But I thought I'd, you know, reclaim things a little bit and offer you a morning muffin.
Oh, how very kind. It was an upside down muffin for a minute.
It was briefly upside down. And please note, finest.
Oh, it is, because that's who we are.
Because you're worth it.
Ah, I think that's 2 different brands.
It is. I've just mashed 2 advertising campaigns into one.
Very seasonal. Look at that. Oh, this is going to be a mess, isn't it?
It is going to be a mess. We didn't go with the cake forks, dear.
I could do.
Should I get the cake forks? Sure.
Do you know where they are?
I have no idea.
Okay, we're going to do that thing where I go warmer, colder.
Okay.
Colder, warmer, quite hot. Yes, very hot.
Well, thank you.
I know, Luna. I know, baby. You can't have this because it's chocolate and that's not good for doggies.
Okay.
On top of the elephant plates.
The elephant plates.
I think to the right, middle shelf.
Oh, I've got them. So important to do things correctly, isn't it?
Good am I at knowing exactly where something
You are.
is.
We discussed this last time,
yes,
actually,
we did.
Which the viewers won't know just yet. Oh, by the time they're seeing this, they will know, because that's how far behind I am on editing.
Well, in fairness, we're not allowed to upload more than a certain number.
Well, we can only upload a limited amount per month on the platforms, but
yes,
we will be getting a little bit busier with the YouTube postings. So,
look at this fine fork.
Beautiful fork.
This was given to me by a certain Abby for Christmas, because she thinks I'm posh enough to want cake forks, and she was right.
I was right.
I'm faux posh, though, aren't I? Because I have no cash.
Well,
like landed gentry, a great name, but no money.
Yeah, absolutely, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
I think we can all have aspirations of greatness.
Well, I can have aspirations of cake forks, and that's probably enough for now.
That's a good start, though, isn't it? We'll try this without too much mass. Cheers, dear.
Oh. You were braver than I.
It has been said. But no, we can have those aspirations. We did, in fact, in the car last night.
Mm-hmm.
When we did our fantasy manor house shopping on the way to the gig.
There's a lot of fantasy manners around Bath.
There's some beautiful places around there, to be fair.
Yeah.
Some of which are most definitely befitting for ladies of our stature and character.
Yes, in fact, some that we saw were quite fitting now.
Mm.
And a bit ramshackle.
Yeah, a little bit.
And some for future us, where it's tuppence to speak to us.
Absolutely. And that's what we need to be focusing on, isn't it?
It was a fun gig last night.
It was very good fun, wasn't it? It was a little sports and social club in Melksham that has never had comedy before and has one of the more eclectic audiences that I've come across, down to people with babies in prams.
I mean, it was worth it just to see Dale being heckled by an infant.
Oh, that was wonderful. Utterly wonderful. And of course, the prerequisite for such venues, the table of 5 or 6 older chaps in the corner playing cards all night and completely ignoring the fact that a bunch of us were there committing comedy in front of them.
Exactly. And we were trying to joke at them and they were not having any of it.
They were not. No, they were not down with the comedy sickness at all.
No, and we were competing with the dartboard at the back, which was a bit of a draw.
Yeah.
But we were still flipping awesome.
Well, we were, to be fair. we rocked that joint, as the kids say.
Yes, although I did forget one of my jokes. That was sad. And it was one of my favourites as well. I love that joke.
Yeah. And we were saying this on the way back, that we're so familiar with each other's material and sets and everything else. It doesn't matter what order we do them in.
Yes.
We can just pick out those moments.
Oh, there's a crumb on the girls.
Yeah. I'm sure there are so many things I could have said at that moment.
Sometimes I forget this is being recorded. Please cut that bit out.
That will be on the trail.
Oh, God.
That will most definitely be on the trail. Because why not?
Oh, well, we've got to show how they are, don't we? With no filters.
Absolutely. We bring the realness. That's the important thing.
Are we going to do that Get Ready With Me thing?
We are, yes. We are. And that will actually go out. I'm going to try and be clever with it.
What?
I know, right?
Steady.
So I am going to try and stream it live to TikTok. And also record it.
What if it's a total disaster?
I don't care.
She's getting brave.
Look, I streamed a haircut to TikTok the other week.
That's true, you did.
You know, and I figure, why not? And that could have gone anywhere.
Why not?
Because Phoebe...
I can give you a list of reasons.
I know you can. You so often do. But no, I had no idea where that was going to land, because my hair lady Phoebe is utterly wonderful and as completely unhinged as say, I don't know, the likes of us. So I was taking my life and TikTok account into my own hands there a little bit. Luckily, we didn't get banned.
And your hair in her hands. Yeah. Could have gone very wrong.
It could have gone very wrong. We were lucky. So, yeah. So next Friday, Good Friday, we have a little gig in the Sydney and Eden.
We do, in Bristol.
In Bristol. And we're going to, do things right, because we have this unwritten thing, this unspoken thing between us where we do always manage to get a little bit matched, don't we? Without even discussing. We'll have a little overview sometimes. Like last night, we had the memo was, let's go glam.
And we totally did.
And we so did. We rocked to that place.
We were so sparkly.
And there is nothing better than being absolutely glam AF when everyone else on the bill are
They're in jeans and
middle-aged
t-shirts. Yes.
blokes in jeans and t-shirts. It just
We were crossing the bridge, darling.
absolutely, and Melksham. I didn't know whether or not it was going to be posh. I was in Chippenham the night before,
Oh yeah.
and it seems that the relationship between the two is very much like the relationship between my hometown, Antwerp Major, and the very posh Cowbridge up the road.
Right.
They would. It was a weird place to grow up, Antwerp, because we had very neutral accents.
Okay.
Because we had the RAF base up the road. My dad,
Yes.
as we've said before, is a Geordie originally, but has no accent and claims Welsh heritage. Because why wouldn't you?
It's to be treasured.
And anyone you tell people, for instance, you tell people from Barry that you're from Antwerp, they go,
Oh.
"Ooh, you're posh. You sound posh." No, I just don't have as my dad would call it, the Barry accident. And then on the other side, you got Cowbridge, who would look down on us like scum, which is fair, to be honest.
It's bad when scum
But
looks down.
the worst bit, I think the worst bit was the fact that Valleys people, they're a whole different breed, right? Run the Valleys. I used to work with so many people from the Valleys, and the amount of times that I'd go in to work on a Monday after a rugby weekend, for instance, if I hadn't caught the rugby and they were talking about it in the crew room, I'd be like, "Oh, what happened on the weekend?" And they'd be, "Well, you insert expletives of choice here, won."
Oh.
And I said, "Hang on a minute. When you say you, what do you mean?" I said, I am Welsh. You know that." They're like, "Oh, sorry." And they just made that assumption that I was English because of the lack of accent. Yet I've gigged in Bristol and met friends of friends there. And as soon as I've started talking, I went, "Oh." So I think somewhere near Cardiff, picking up on bits of the accent, I'm like, "Really?" They're like, "Well, I
Yeah.
did spend a lot of time there, so I do recognise little twangs and certain words."
Mm.
So it's an odd one.
Yeah, you
Having
don't
a
have a
real
strong
accent.
accent. I have had dates with men that I don't know what they said at all. It's probably a good thing.
Mm,
And I mean, I told you about when I had a car blowout, not a
mm,
car blowout, tire
yeah,
blowout. I had a blowout on my tire, and it was on that road. I think is it the A48? I don't know.
yeah.
What's my name? Where am I?
Carmarthen way, wasn't it?
No, it
Is that
was
what you
out
know?
towards. I was heading towards Neathport Talbot Hospital from Swansea.
Yeah.
And it's quite a fast road, that. And I had a blowout on this really fast road. And I managed to limp, of course, because it's so unsafe. It's a 70-mile-an-hour speed limit there. So I was really quite afraid I was going to kill somebody by
Mm,
just being like stranded. So I managed to limp, driving on the rim of my car into it's a truck stop, actually. It's not
yeah, I know the one.
really
I
a
know the one.
petrol station.
Yeah.
And so there was my little car, Clarice, between two HGV trucks. And one of the truck drivers saw the situation and he jumped out of his truck and he directed me to a little petrol pump that was kind of out of the way, that isn't often used, just so that I wouldn't be causing any trouble.
Mm,
Bless him. People are lovely, aren't they?
they
Most
can be.
people are really lovely. And people were so incredibly helpful. It was I was sitting in this car and I was quite, as you know, I can be a little anxious
Hmm.
in situations like this. Rock in my throat. So I can be a little anxious. And I was looking at these trucks and feeling like, oh my God, I'm only in my little car and these trucks are quite large. And waiting for my rescue service and it's all a little bit much.
Mm.
So many middle-aged men came and knocked on my window and they're like, excuse me, you've got a flat tire? And sometimes because I'm just a nice person, I was like, oh, thank you. And sometimes Karen would take over and I was like, no way. that does explain the sparks and the flying bits of rubber. And sometimes I was just like bored with it. And I was just, thanks. And I was a couple of hours to wait for the service. And I was sitting in this car, and this guy came and he was like, no neat little tap on the window, no nice, are you okay? None of that, just thump, thump, thump.
SWAT team bang.
And he's like, open the window. And I was like, you are murderous. And I haven't even spoken to you yet. So I thought, okay, I'm not going to inflame this situation. So I started my car and lit the window down this much. And he looks at me and he goes, that's a bloody stupid place to leave your car. Like I'd chosen it.
I don't think many accents convey low-key rage quite as well as the Welsh one.
I know. But also, it's not that murderous, is it? Like, this guy's thumping on my car and acting like an axe murderer. And then he goes, a bloody stupid place. And of course, it's quite musical. In a sort of, what is the word? There are so many words, but I don't want to use any of them because they're just not ladylike.
No.
But yeah, thanks for the help, whoever you are. May you watch this and feel the burn of shame.
Absolutely.
And just realize that I'm trying to turn that into a comedy set, so you'll be immortalized.
Immortalized in hilarity.
Yeah.
Which is what we visit upon most people who have invited us in any way.
Yes. Like, that's it. You're being turned into material. Witches turn people into frogs, not us.
No, not us. We turn you into material.
Yes.
I've actually started saying to people recently, I don't have exes. I have material.
It's so true.
It is though, isn't it? We use all those experiences. Like, last night we both threw in a couple of new little snippets that are purely based on what has happened to us instantly. It was great. And sometimes just talking to someone is enough.
Yes.
And I was literally sat there yesterday on a Teams meeting with my manager in work, having my monthly one-to-one meeting. And at the end of it, she said to me, right, have a nice weekend. Are you doing much? So I said, usual comedy, ice hockey, podcast, Who doesn't do that with a weekend?
Yeah.
And welcome back. And please welcome to Savage Towers, the wonderful Malli Milk.
Hello. I am the morning muffin.
That's so good.
We have already morning muffin.
I know.
Do you lump?
No, I do not lump. No, thank you.
Shall I lump you, dear?
Sure, just the one.
I'm trying to be more healthy at the moment, but there are biscuits on the table, so we're not doing that today.
No, not today.
You do not have a healthy day.
Not today.
When you are here on your Savagely, I'm afraid.
It's lovely. What a lovely setup. I love it. I feel elegant.
Do you want to do the milking?
Yeah.
Shall I be mother?
Indeed. Yeah. That's oat milk, isn't it?
It is oat milk. Yes. No cow juice.
I double check everything. Oh yeah.
Yeah. We made sure we made today's production as vegan friendly.
Oh.
Well, we're friendly anyway. We are friendly to vegan people.
Yeah.
But we thought that we should make the food vegan friendly too.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's a proper cup of tea. I love it.
It is a proper cup of tea.
Absolutely.
This is
we
our
don't
thing.
mess around here. We do things as properly as possible.
We are ladies what lunch.
Absolutely.
Hello, Angel.
We're sort of ladies that afternoon tea very much, aren't we? And afternoon is a loose term. We usually start at about 11 and...
Well, we usually start when we're conscious. And that's a term we apply loosely.
Very loosely. Cheers, my love.
Cheers, Danny.
Cheers, Malli.
Well, thank you for having me. It's lovely to see you both.
You're our very first podcast guest.
I'm honoured. I'm truly honoured. It's it's lovely. Really nice.
Yes.
Very different vibe to most podcasts. I like it.
Absolutely. We thought we'd bring something passier and bring new elements to the whole world of podcasting.
God, this is much more my speed.
You know?
It does help that we have no idea what we're doing.
Yes, that's the key to this. Would you care for?
I will do. I'll have an
treats?
Oreo. Yeah, I'll have an Oreo.
I did
we are
make
not
this.
sponsored by Oreo, by the way.
Oh, I've
We're not
broken your Oreo.
sponsored by. Well, I know how it feels. I did have to use a recipe to make a vegan-friendly cake.
Right.
I'm quite good at making dairy-free cakes because one of my daughters is allergic to dairy, so I'm quite good at making dairy-free things. But I always cheat and put eggs in. But I have not cheated.
Not cheated
I've
today.
used applesauce instead of eggs.
Oh, hello.
I totally Googled that.
Oof.
It's like, what can I use instead of eggs? And this might totally suck, but I have made it anyway.
I don't matter. So,
And you can review my very first vegan chocolate cake.
Let me bring you my plate over.
For clarity as well, it needs to be noted that Ava does not do recipes ever.
I don't like being told what to do.
Do you know the easiest recipe for a vegan cake? The absolute easiest
is it to buy it?
No, it is partially to buy it. It's Betty Crocker cake mix.
Okay.
And a can of Diet Coke.
That is such a good tip. Thank you.
Amazing.
Just mix a can of Diet Coke into a Betty Crocker cake mix and you get perfect.
Beautiful.
Perfect vegan cake.
Of course you can.
Let's dig in then. I haven't had cake or processed sugar in a while, so
this is totally processed sugar.
Oh, it's orgasmic. I don't know about that.
Oh, thank you.
It's all gooey. It's lovely. It's all gooey. Let's get all the entendres out of the way before we've already had a morning muffin.
It's all good. It's all good. We entendre our way through.
We do
most episodes.
Although we skipped our morning knob today. So in favour of Oreos.
Morning knob. What do you have? A hobnob? Was that?
Lovely, wonderful. Yeah, we do tend to have a selection of snackery.
Hobnobs are also vegan by default, just in case you're.
Oh, amazing! I thought they probably were.
Chocolate ones.
Instead of chocolate ones.
We go chocolate.
But I do like the naked ones. Everyone likes a naked knob.
Indeed.
Oh.
It depends how much I've had to drink. If I'm
supposed
honest.
to be the classy one.
You've broken yourself.
I know she's broken it.
Usually that's my job.
It is a job.
I feel mildly redundant at this point.
Well, that's what you call an own goal.
It is a total own goal.
And you brought these as well.
I
don't think I've had these since like primary school.
I don't think I've had them since a friend's 8th birthday party or something.
You're not going to get pink finger out of the way and get that off the entendre card as well.
You two are going to form an unholy alliance, aren't you?
I think
a plate of brown hoops.
Yeah. There's an obvious entendre.
Stop it.
Brown hoops and pink fingers. Yeah, you can. This is entirely childish, but yeah, if you do it that way, it's one thing.
Two pink, one brown. Yeah,
absolutely. That's like an Easter bunny.
We can do it that way.
That's not like an Easter bunny.
That's not like an Easter bunny, no. No, that's the most disappointing
like
treat that any woman can get. Just keep these on my plate now, thanks.
So there we go.
I've already fingered them.
Yeah, completely destroyed Ava, which is great. What a great start to our first guest coming on.
Oh god!
This isn't a highbrow comedy at this point. I'm going to point out we aren't going highbrow up until this.
Well, we were.
Malli, you have met us both before.
I know.
How much highbrow comedy?
I know
either one of us.
No, there is.
No, well, I pretend to though, don't I?
Well, you do mask it. Yes.
Well, it's not really.
Well, you don't really mask it. You basically repeat, "I'm a classy lady," just to remind people that you are not a classy lady, really. Because if you have to say it that much, you're not.
Maybe like Salubrious Place in Swansea. If you've got to call it that, it's just not.
But what a name!
I know.
Every time salubrious sounds like such a bad word, and it's not. It's a positive word. I've forgotten what the definition is. But every time I go past it, I think of some creepy man in an alley.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It means
like welcome
prosperous.
to salubrious. Yeah,
yes. Possibly in a long overcoat.
Yeah. Or 3 raccoons. There is a cinema there.
There could be three raccoons in an overcoat. Yeah.
Yes,
and a trobby.
It was I every time I pass it, I'm like, it's odd. It's odd for me because it's at the end of Wine Street, which to me, obviously, with my English tongue, says it's Win Street.
It totally is Win Street.
It's Win, but it's not. It's Wine Street, and that always messes with me a little bit.
It winds
And
me
then-
up too.
Or does it wind you up?
It's a wind you
Does it?
yeah. Yeah, but salubrious place being stuck on the end of it. To keep it funnily enough, in Lincoln, I spend a lot of time in the city, the wonderful city. And they've got a short passage called the Glory Hole. Yeah, it's lovely. It's one of them in one of the oldest. It's a bridge that's got buildings going across the top of it. There aren't hardly any in the country anymore. It's like proper historical. But it used to have a sign on it. But the sign to the Glory Hole kept getting nicked. Because it's like a student tank, as well. So that no tank can have a sign that says Glory Hole and have it stay there for much longer. So sadly, they've had to remove the Glory Hole sign.
This is actually one of the things I've had to recently explain to Ava, because as our viewers are getting to know, not many people know, Ava is one of the sweetest and most innocent people on the planet. And the amount of times recently we've sat at comedy shows where we've been performing, watching other acts, and she's looked at me and gone, and I've had to sit and explain various phrases and things to her. And she says the sweetest thing afterwards, which is,
I can't believe enough people do that it's got a name.
But there's something new every week, isn't it? Like how are you supposed to keep up with it? Because there's a new sort of sexy trend like every week that comes out. I heard one the other day where somebody was going on, what was it called? Hamstering? And I don't even know what it is. I'm not even going to look it up.
No.
You know? But exactly. In my head, I was like, do you fill your cheeks with something and then just release it at orgasm? Is that what you is that what you for the entire time? But when it, I don't know what are, you know.
I don't know what most of them are. I was married for like 100 years and I lived under a cosh, and then I was released, still freshly formed, as a 45-year-old woman, having never had a date in my adult life. And suddenly just lurched onto the dating scene, completely ignorant of anything.
There's something quite wonderful about that sort of.
It is great.
Like that naivety. There's something untarnished and wonderful about it.
But I say to Ava all the time that working so closely with her is so lovely for me. Because it's so much like having a conversation with my mum, where I have to delicately explain lots of things. So I can be slightly less delicate than not explaining it to my mum.
I'm relieved about that, we're honest.
That's where the resemblance ends, I can show you. But yeah, it's just so rare to find anyone in this day and age, no matter what age or anything else, who is that innocent and everything else and naive about things. And it's refreshing, right?
Yeah, it's lovely.
It's terrifying from this perspective, if we're honest. My kids sometimes they call me the Malteser because they reckon I'm blonde on the inside. Or the lemming because they think I'm trying to die.
The Malteser, I've never heard that before.
Yeah, my children are fairly inventive with the names. They call me other stuff too, but I don't think I don't want to sign up to that.
It's not particularly repeatable on such a high class show as this, is it?
Yeah, where we've talked about pink fingers.
Yeah. And many other things besides following our morning muffin.
It's just wrong, isn't it? Well, it's so nice to have you.
Thank you. Funnily enough, I've just been through like an audition process for something that I didn't get, but it's something that's focused around neurodiversity and mental health. And I was saying to the woman that was was doing the interviews, I completely lost my thread. Sorry, I was getting completely where was I going with that?
Is it something to do with depression?
It is, yeah. It is.
Interview process.
Yeah, it was
audition.
Audition, and it was like, what was I saying to the person? I don't know. I'll come back. I'll swing back to it. It'll pop in eventually anyway. But yeah, like I do I do talk about, that was it. See, I do talk about mental health really openly, because when I've suffered with poor mental health my entire life. It's not just adult life. It's, and I got diagnosed with ADHD when I was 35. So that explained everything, that sort of drew a line under so many things. But what I found over the years is that young people these days have an advantage where they can turn around to their employer and people and they can say, I'm not having a good mental health day. I need time to do this. Where when I was working, through my teens and 20s and 30s and stuff, I would have to make up a different excuse every time for why I wasn't coming in that day. So the amount of stomach bugs, headaches, you know what I mean? The amount of times that my children fell over, my ex-wife used to have a go at me going, you cannot say things, you cannot tempt fate by saying that one of your children has, do you know what I mean, has fallen over and your child is ill, because they're ultimately going to get ill. But yeah, I got to it was really difficult, like having to take all that time out of work and out of society and all that. And but like now it's so much easier, and obviously that doesn't help your situation at all, that it's much easier to talk about and there's less stigma to it. But even compared to one thing good that came out of COVID was that they started to acknowledge people's mental health during COVID, more so than previously. There was always a like a stigma attached to it. Thank you, Abby. But what COVID did was it gave people the opportunity to say, I'm not doing very well. Yes. I'm struggling with this. And as a result of it, now young people have got more support because there were support structures put in place during COVID to help people emotionally that have kind of stuck after. And there are people trying to repeal that now. Don't get me started on the political side of it, where people are trying to sort of roll back those protections. But one positive thing that did come out of it, and unfortunately too late for your brother, is that people are more aware and more open to hear about mental health.
And I think the realization came with it of our need for social interactions and everything else, because I work in a big office. My department at that point was about 30 or 40 people, probably about 40, and now it's a lot less.
Yeah.
But it's eventually starting to go back up a bit. But we literally, I've been away for a few days. I came back on the Wednesday. It looked like the LA riots in the office, because everyone was looting monitors and keyboards and anything else. Yeah. And we literally the week before been issued with and had a home test laptops instead of desktops. Right. So if the need came, we could work from home.
Yeah.
Big financial institution, they knew what was coming.
Yes.
They definitely knew what was coming, because the Friday, we all had to work from home and test the networks and everything, make sure everything handle us working from home. So we got back on the Tuesday. I think I'd had that day off. Went in on the Wednesday, carnage. What's going on? They're like, you won't have seen the emails or anything where, as of today, we're hacking up. We're working from home for 2 weeks. Weeks. That was it. And then each week it kept getting knocked on. Started jumping by month. But then there was that realization, and I think it brought a lot of workplaces closer and a lot of people closer, because they started to realize there was that isolation. There wasn't that daily social interaction. And God, it was happy days for some of us, because we would literally, and how mad a heat wave was it as well?
Yes.
We did not see rain for 6 months or something.
Yeah. It was brilliant.
So a Friday was great. 2:00 on a Friday, we would all decamp into our respective gardens, get the beverages of our choice on the go on the patio table, and have a team quiz or something silly. And it actually brought us closer by being remote. And it helped a lot of us. I think when things settled down and it became the norm, then the cracks started appearing again.
Absolutely.
And now I think we're in almost as bad a place as we were at the start of lockdown, certainly mentally, because so many people have reverted to, I work from home 3 days a week. If it wasn't for doing comedy and stuff, as we all know, I get myself out there quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because, quite frankly, I don't want to spend time in the house in my company.
Yeah.
And, I apologize frequently to people who do have to enjoy my company.
Oh, be nice.
But, yeah, no, I'm just paying for sympathy. But no, it is literally, if it wasn't for that, I would probably be back in quite a bad mental health state myself. Because I wouldn't actively seek ways to go out and do stuff and express myself.
Yeah.
And that's the weird thing. So, yeah, it was a double-edged sword, wasn't it? And
Yeah, absolutely.
you're saying about putting 10,000 depressed people in the stadium. The flip side of that would be if you invited people just off the street to walk into that stadium, look at everyone and say, why are they here?
Yeah.
No one would say, all those people are depressed because everyone masks.
Everyone's masking. Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
Is, and people frequently, I don't frequently quote people like Robin Williams because, on the outside, we all thought we knew what that person was like.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily think unless you've been there yourself or afterwards how much they're going through.
Exactly.
Because we don't talk about it so openly. Yeah, I think those of us who have learned to share and will, sit down with friends and close people and say, right, what's wrong?
Yeah.
The problem is, again, it is a health problem. It is a health problem. I suffer terribly with my mental health. I just do not make serotonin.
Yeah.
Don't make it. And then if we can try and replace that chemically, but the side effects are shocking.
Yeah.
And I was referred for counselling, mental health services, trauma therapy, and I waited and I waited and I waited. I've waited more than 3 years.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, I'd lost everything that mattered to me at the time, including my brother, my main relationship. My daughter was taken to Portugal by my ex-husband, and told me she didn't want to speak to me anymore. I had a beautiful dog, a big fluffy white Akita called Mika. She died. I'd lost everything that mattered to me at the time. And I went to my GP and I said to them, I do not see the point of continuing. I don't want to. I'm physically disabled as well. I live in pain all of the time. And it's hard to stay positive when things hurt.
Of course. Yeah.
And I said to my GP, I cannot live like this. And the GP was just like, hey.
Yeah.
Have you tried reading a book?
Yeah. Have
you tried distracting yourself? Have you had a cup of tea?
One bath.
I phoned mental health crisis service. And the practitioner said to me, why don't you go for a nice long walk on the beach? And I said to her, one of the reasons I'm very depressed is that I cannot go for a nice long walk on the beach.
Yeah.
But I got no help.
Are you sure you're not a ghost?
That is an amazing question.
Yeah. Are you a ghost? Are you a ghost at this point? I don't know. I mean, do you have a potter's wheel? I mean,
I did do pottery actually.
We can test that. If you have a potter's wheel, if you and Abby sit in front of it, then Abby and I'll sit in front of it, and then I'll be Whoopi Goldberg.
Yes, and I'll sing the song.
Yeah, and then you can dive into my body and start potting. Isn't that what happened to Ghost? No,
I don't.
No, that isn't, is it?
I saw the musical version. I saw the musical version of it, but not the movie. That is Ghost.
No, but he's not. There's no possession in the pottery scene.
I mean, I like you very much. I like you very much, but this is a level of intimacy I was not expecting.
No, neither was I. I didn't think it out entirely.
It was a great proposal.
Yeah, great proposal.
And with the best, gracious.
Yeah.
I'm going to decline.
Yeah, I think you might be having a sixth sense, mate.
Yeah. I'm very anxious because I was so traumatized as a child. So when I go into places like my workplace, pubs, bars, clubs, places like that, I'm really anxious. And I have to go in there and reprogram it to say, this is exciting. People pay to go on roller coasters.
Yeah.
I don't have to pay for that.
Yeah.
I can just be in a crowd. I get the same hit. And just
Or
understanding
in a car with me on the way to.
Yeah, there is that. But you hardly ever drive on the wrong side of the road.
Hardly ever.
Not so much.
And it's
lately.
near misses more than anything.
Near miss. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
gets the old blood pumping, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But you're right. You're absolutely right. And like psychologically, I'm not a psychologist, obviously, but psychologically, you can reframe and reprogram your brain to.
Absolutely.
I mean, and again, like you said, diametrically, opposing ideas, where you can like be absolutely like anxiety is my biggest killer. The amount of things that I don't do because of anxiety is crushing. The amount of comedy spots that I have to pull because of my anxiety is it's inordinate. I'm surprised anyone ever considers giving me a spot now because I've had to, I've had to rein in so many.
That is a massive shame.
It is.
Because I mean we sometimes see acts and they're trying their best. And we think it's great that you're trying.
Yeah.
And people have told you you're funny.
Yeah. For clarity, we are called absolute savages.
Yes, and we're a little savage.
We are quite generally lovely around people when we need to be.
Yeah.
You have stepped into inner sanctum.
Sorry about this.
And you are seeing the real reason why we call ourselves savages.
Yeah.
But no, we don't mean that in a negative way.
We don't. We're just like, these are not people who've made it as far as they
And I can testify to how many gigs you pull out of because I think you pulled out of 2 or 3 that I put.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yet I will still offer you a spot because I want you to do one of my shows. Simple as. People do want you to. They value what you bring to a comedy night. They enjoy your comedy and your humour and everything else.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
we're a tough gig.
We need.
But I think you're very funny.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we both do. We both do. We met last year at Maggie's. Road, didn't we? That for the first time and have gigged together a few times.
2 times now. That was my first spot back. That was the first. Yeah. Because I'd been on a break at that point, and I was like, I'm not doing comedy anymore. I can't do it. The anxiety of doing it. Because I was still very much previously. I did like so many on the scene now. I did one of the like ultra comedy things, And then once I finished that and I got that little taste, and I was like, I want to be a stand-up, I want to be a stand-up, I want to be a stand-up, I want to be a stand-up. And then you sort of push it, and then you start going for, you start trying to get out there and do this. And it's so intensive. Like people don't realize how intensive it is, even trying to do comedy casually. Since Donald Trump started a war with Iran, it now costs me 48 quid to get to Newport. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. For a round trip to Newport, I have to consider, can I do that now?
Yes.
I only drive a Nissan Micra as well. I'm not a fuel guzzler.
Yeah.
Well, in my accent, that was wonderful. Then guzzler. Yeah, fuel guzzler. Like spiralizer. That was I catch myself sometimes because no one sounds like me. And then until I go back to Bristol and I'm like, oh my God, these people sound weird. But yeah, like the anxiety got to me when I was having a break. So the first time that we met at Maggie's, that was, and what was weird about that was that I put on makeup and I put on, something a bit snazzy. And I'm thinking, my God, I'm going into like deepest, darkest, like Bryn Hufford or whatever area is now. My girlfriend is like, is this going to be a queer friendly space? And I was like, I do not know. I have no clue, right? But I'm going to get there and I'm going to do 5 minutes and be fun. And then the first person I saw outside was you. You know what I mean? And I was like, I think we're going to be
queer friendly if we're honest.
Yeah, and and you know what I mean, like just pink hair. You know what I mean?
Pink hair,
flamboyant dress. I was like, yes,
quite a hugger.
Yeah, I was like, here we go. We're going to be absolutely fine. And then that was the first, the first one back to really doing it. And like even now, I'm doing it for fun. Now,
I think that is the important thing.
Yeah.
But you see, this is the other thing. This is why I sort of started talking about this. Is I have a joke about a widow where I say I'm single again. Well, I'm a widow. I hope.
It's a wonderful joke.
It's a great joke. And I told this in a room full of people. And after the set, this young girl came up to me. She's about 26. And she said to me, today's the first time I've been out since my husband died. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
And she said, and I felt embarrassed because I laughed at your jokes.
Mm.
And I said to her, I'm really sorry for your loss. I'm really sorry. I feel it. Said, and one day, not now, but one day it's going to be more about the fact that you had him and less about the fact that you lost him.
Yeah.
And that will come. But, she spoke to me, and a lot of my humor is about things that at the time were awful. And I laugh about them now. And it takes the sting out in a big way.
Yeah.
In a big way. One of my jokes is, and then I met Psycho Dave. Well, when I met him, he was just called Dave. But it tells you the whole story of that relationship in one line.
Yeah.
And that humor makes it so accessible. Abby does this as well. Abby says things like, all comedians have got terrible trauma that makes them funny. I haven't got anything like that. And everybody laughs at that because we know for a fact that you do. And all the great comedians want to give something to people. It heals me when people laugh.
Comedy is very disarming for you know what I mean. And the thing is, like, I always worry about a crowd. Like if we did one together, Abby and I, in Caerphilly
project,
and then like the front row of that night was so alpha cis male, like oh my, and like I'm there and I'm thinking,
and this was
Abby and I.
This was one of the trans rights gigs as well.
Yeah, it was.
On the table.
Yeah,
was alpha white straight male.
Oh my god!
And two slightly repressed women on the table with the
slightly repressed. God.
It
not that we're stereotyping or anything,
no.
But we can read a room.
Right?
Yeah.
They were like a poster child for internalized misogyny. Yeah.
You were on before.
I was on before you. Yeah.
You then me. And carry on.
It was such a, like, I was like, oh, what am I going to do in this? You know what I mean? In this environment, because I'm presenting, I'm presenting queer. I've got makeup on. I'm a little bit, but then you come to the realization that you are very much in control of that situation, in the sense that they might be a bit hecky, they might be a bit rowdy, but you're the one with the microphone and you're the one with the power, and they do not like when you put them in their place. And I remember vividly thinking within a few seconds, I've turned this. Yeah, I've turned this room now. You know what I mean? They're with me and not with those people now. In the rest of the room. Yeah. And it's intimidating. It's intimidating. But what comedy does, like very much for us that are doing it, and I tell people this all the time, that especially the South Wales scene, it's so nurturing and so supportive, and you don't really find many assholes on the South Wales scene. And if you do, they kind of fizzle out. You know what I mean?
They are quickly expelled.
Yeah, they kind of, there was one, when I first started doing it, there was this one individual, and they would rock up, and people were a bit like, whoa, and they're
so vain.
And then like their set was kind of misogyny based, and it was all a bit like, oh, and you could feel the room like,
yes,
and then they disappeared quite quickly.
They were ejected.
Ejected, yes, absolutely. But
that was before my time, and even I know who it.
Yeah,
we're probably thinking about the same person. Yeah, I'm not going to.
There's only one person that the entire communities could have gone together and said, "What you have done is not okay. You need to go."
Yeah.
But, and he does know who he is.
Still tries,
but I think he doesn't
to the right
care.
gender.
Still he doesn't care because he's not coachable.
Right? Yeah.
I think.
And but there's that thing, isn't there? Like when people get into comedy, there's people all their lives, and I've been one of those people where your friends are saying you should do stand up, you should do stand up, you should do stand up, you should do stand up. And ordinarily, when somebody goes and does that, they think, oh, I can do stand up, I can do stand up, I can do, and then they find very quickly that they can't. Do stand up.
Yeah.
They're not as funny in front of an audience, but if they don't put the work in, they're not as funny in front of an audience as they thought that they were.
No.
My ex-wife often, on the odd occasions these days, we get to catch up. She is so happy for me now because something I said, it would be in the region of 30 years ago now, was all I want to do in my life is make people laugh.
Yeah.
And that was my mindset forever. I was in pantomime and theatre at the age of 7. for about 30 years. But that wasn't enough. I said, I just want to make people laugh. Always wanted to do stand-up. And I have that line. I've always wanted to do this, but it's only now I've had the balls to try.
Yeah.
It's a great
And it's so true.
Yeah.
It is so true. I did it as a dare and got bitten by it. And further to what you were saying with Cavilli, with the project, those guys, I would say 85 to 90% of my gigs have been in regular pubs. They've been in front of straight, cis audiences, everything else. And the minority have been queer gigs. Gay pubs and clubs or pride gigs. I've been fortunate. I've done a couple of big pride events. I've got a few more lined up for this year. And they're great. I love them. It's like playing in front of a home crowd. But what it gives you by performing in front of these regular crowds and knowing that it works, you can get up in front of a regular crowd who don't connect with you. And by the end of it, they're coming up saying, wow, that was amazing. Knowing you can do that and stepping in front of your home crowd is such a high then, because you're like,
this is
easy. This is easy because you guys have already connected with me because you've seen me on a poster, or you've seen the write-up, and you know that I'm one of you. Whereas walking into Maggie's or wherever else, working men's clubs, the amount I've probably had half a dozen or so gigs where I've walked in, I've sat down with a couple of the other acts. I was with Ben Pugh in the legendary and infamous Hollybush in Birmingham. I'll take you there one day. It's a delight.
To the best place.
I do. I treat you proper. Me and Ben were sat there. Just bad judgment on some of the venues. So me and Ben had talked beforehand, and he gave me this full rundown because he played there before. And we were sat next to each other, but obviously texting each other because you didn't want to talk out loud. And some of the acts on there hadn't been the greatest. And he texted me and said, I told you it was a bit different, didn't he? And I replied saying, this is the night I may well die in both senses. I was looking at the crowd. I was watching it. They hadn't laughed much, but they hadn't not laughed because they weren't a comedy audience. They'd not laughed because the other acts hadn't made them laugh. And then I think Ben was going up at the end of the first half break, and then I was up at Ben was up in the middle. I was up at the end of the first part, and we just looked at each other and said, "Right, we've got to do this." He went up, hit it really well, and even up to that point, I was absolutely crapping myself. I thought, this is not my crowd. These are not my people. They are not going to love me. I went up. I did whatever I was doing. 10, I think. And you're doing something like that, you just go safe. You have whatever your 10 is at that point, and you go safe, because you know you can deliver it with conviction. I came off there, and the reaction I had was unreal. I was like so taken aback. I was not prepared for a good reaction. And I think that builds you up so much then. And it's a way I've dealt with anxieties and things, because with everyone around any given comedian table is riddled with anxiety and depression and ADHD,
it's all
OCD. It's the whole shebang.
That's why we can never finish a concept, because there's 3 people with ADHD. It's like squirrels on caffeine.
Oh, it's it's ridiculous. It's nuts. Nuts. In fact, squirrels on caffeine, nuts. Well, more nuts. More nuts. Somebody bring more nuts. But
you can't do that. But I can
have more tea. Nut
Yes,
tea.
more.
Nut tea. So yeah, I mean, so going back to about being disarming, is that in a way, obviously it's just amateur, it's amateur comedy at the level that I'm doing it, but we interact with people that are doing it professionally, and in a lot of senses, we're almost unwitting ambassadors for our respective communities, because comedy builds bridges between people. And whereas like you'll have people that are on their Facebook, and they'll be talking about trans people like they're the expert on trans people, but they've never interacted with a trans person, or they've never interacted with a queer person, but they think they know everything about trans people. But then what will happen is that they'll go to a comedy, and they'll interact with someone like me. I'm like kind of the missing link on the fossil record of queerness. You know what I mean? Because I'm very like I'm not overtly queer, and I very much look like a middle-aged man with makeup on. I'm and I kind of that's pretty much what I am. I prefer they them pronouns, but it's like. It is like shouting into a void a lot of the time. Most people are just going to look at me and they're not going to accept that I'm anything but a he, him. But I'm too old to care now. And the only reason that I will often insist on people using the pronouns that I prefer is to normalize it for people that are younger than me, that are coming out, that need to, you know what I mean? And just to do that. But when people come to gigs and they see someone, like me, who like a cisgender man can look at me and go, that's a bloke. I can identify with a bloke. But I'm talking about things and themes and stuff that, someone's just asked me to write a blurb. I'm doing a vegan festival in the summer, and they said, can you send us a blurb about yourself that we can put on posters? And I said, Malli Malpass, I'm a vegan genderqueer metalhead that sounds like the entire cast of Hot Fuzz. Right? And I was like, the jokes write themselves. That's because I'm all of these things. But like going back to it, we are kind of like unwitting ambassadors for our respective communities, And we can, people like yourself, Abby, that are out and about doing it, and then like June Tuesday, who's out, and you're smashing it, but you're being open and transparent and vulnerable about your experience, and like people walk out of a comedy gig, and yes, they've been laughing, but they've also learned something.
Yes.
And the next time that they have to interact or think about a trans person, they're not going to think about big bad, this is, because the media and social media paint trans people up to be monsters in a moment. And it's, that's not like, I'm not even being dramatic. That's
100%.
That's what it is. Trans people, especially trans women, trans men don't get any of the, people forget about trans men.
Yes.
And it's only trans women. And I've always said it's trans women who don't pass. Right? Like, and that's where the issue lies, where people just go bloke. You know what I mean? And it's
as if they have a right.
As if they have a right to do it, right? But I've lost my thread again. I keep doing this, don't I? I keep running away with it.
It's our influence.
No, it is. Yeah, it's the cake. It's the drugs in the cake.
Sorry.
Yeah, it'll get back there anyway. Yeah, but what was I bloody saying?
You were talking about being disarming. And
but no, it's completely.
Well,
okay, yeah.
Have a think on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to quickly chuck in a little story. Ava's shared this more times than anyone deserves. One of my
about it.
one of my earlier gigs, I think. It was, or I used to go back because I started off doing open mics, music open mics, rather than comedy open mics. I'd go back every now and again just to try something out, just to catch up with the guys who run it. Nice bunch of people, really nurturing environment. And I was in Cowbridge, in the Horse and Groom on a Sunday night, for their monthly open mic. And
that's our closest Waitrose, by the way.
Yes, it is.
Cowbridge.
Yes, it is.
Cowbridge is our closest Waitrose.
Yeah.
Swansea.
I know someone, actually, my friend's mum will drive from Neath Valley.
Yeah, my ex-girlfriend used to.
To Cowbridge.
Yeah, she would drive from Resolven to
Is
Cowbridge.
there one in Mumbles, or is that a mark?
There's a little Waitrose. There's a little Waitrose. Yeah, it's a little Waitrose.
But, so I'd done my bet. End of the night, I'm sat there. Sorry, Luna. I'm not fussing when I should be. So, end of the night, sat there, having my little come down after the gig. And you feel a presence. And I looked up, and there was this guy, big build, in his 60s, rough, tough looking guy. And a lot of thoughts go through your head instantly. Most of them are, am I about to die?
Yeah.
But you do get all these thoughts quickly go through your head. And I looked up and he just looked at me, smiled and put his hand up and shook my hand and said, I have no idea about you, about your situation, about anything else, but I have just learned so much about things and I really understand and appreciate what you are trying to achieve and what you're doing. And he said, keep it up, fantastic. And I went back a couple of months later to try out some new stuff. And he came up to me afterwards again and said, I don't know if you remember me from last time. And I said, yes, I do. Because people like that stand out. Yeah, generic. Male.
Yeah.
Looking at him, you understand this. Just looking at the person, you didn't recognize them in any way. But as soon as he said,
totally faceblind.
Yeah.
Completely.
I discovered this the first time you drove me to Cardiff. I remember that. Yeah.
Did I bring you home?
I think so. Yeah. I think
You're fairly easy to recognize, if we're honest.
Yeah, people don't remember my face; they just remember what's on it. A lot of the time,
well,
you know what I mean. That's the.
Well, I found out recently from Ava that when she looks at me, she thinks of me as a cartoon.
Yeah, I do. It's easier for my brain to recognize a cartoon face.
Yeah, well, I mean, you are. You know what I mean? There's nothing.
Well, yeah,
that's brilliant. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're very animated, and you paint yourself that way. But I remember what I was going to say. You reminded me. So yes, it's basically most people, like the media and everything, are painting trans people as monsters. There's some kind of threat, and especially trans women. And the whole thing about we don't want like biological men going into women's spaces because they could dress up as a woman and go and attack women in women's spaces. And I said it one of the queer nights once. The likelihood of that act, like predators are predators.
Yes.
Male predators are male predators. And there's a large majority of cis males that think that washing their own ass is a bit gay.
Yeah.
Right. So let's not pretend that they're going to put on a dress and makeup to go into women's spaces to accost women. You know what I mean, if they're going to do it, they're going to do it dressed as a man. But my whole point being is that what you've just illustrated that brilliantly, Abby, with an individual that wouldn't necessarily have had any experience with a trans person, you've made a connection with, and you've built a bridge that is humanized. All trans people now, not just yourself. You're not just an anomaly now. That person will probably have a slightly altered perception of trans people and how that person responds to trans people. There's the wonderful Terry Pratchett used to write in his books quite a lot about it's not your first thoughts that define you. It's your reaction to those first thoughts that define you as a person. Like, for instance, I grew up in quite a right-wing background.
Oh yeah, same.
Where some of the things that I was brought up and sort of they were drilled into me are horrible. They're absolutely horrible things, and I've had to fight that programming effectively over the years. And sometimes I will have initial thoughts about things that aren't good. The way that I react to things sometimes they're not good. But it's the way that my brain then goes, oh, hang on. That's not how we, That's not how that's not how we do things now.
Yeah. I can totally relate to that.
Yeah.
I am naturally very bigoted. I'm naturally racist, homophobic, and it took a lot as an older teenager for me to look on these people that have raised me, that I was supposed to respect without question, and go, I am not being that person.
Exactly.
I am not being that person. I will not accept that somebody is somehow defective because they're not exactly like me.
Exactly.
I had an uncle when I was growing up. My aunt, who was a very fine lady, got married to a man whose brother was queer.
Right.
And a musician and very artistic. In Zimbabwe in the 70s.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
This was not an easy ride for him, but he was so much himself.
Yeah.
And my brother said to me, not long before he died, actually, he said to me, who's the bravest person you know? And I used to work in the fire service. My first job was as a firefighter. So, I knew a lot of really brave people, including a man who'd been burned over about 90% of his body, who then became a firefighter.
Yeah.
Incredibly courageous. And he said to me, "Who's the bravest person you ever met?" And I said, "I think it might be Chris." And he said, "Seriously, Chris?" I said, "Yeah." Because the courage to be yourself in the face of overwhelming bigotry was so incredible. And I at least had somebody to look at and go, their automatic hatred of him is simply not in line with the Bible they quote all of the time.
Don't get me started. Yeah.
I know.
You won't go down that route.
But, the lessons, the Christian lessons that we're supposed to take from this giant misogynist is love your neighbor as yourself. That doesn't mean shag your neighbor's wife, obviously, because you're not supposed to covet things either. But love your neighbor as yourself, which means you treat people well, no matter who they are. And it says, so who's my neighbor? Everybody on the planet is your neighbor, which means that we should be sitting here aghast at some of the atrocities that happen in the name of religion, being right, being different. I have no idea what it's like to be queer. None at all. I was a girl from the moment I was born. I've never questioned it. I am a girl. It's just as well, really, because I've got these guys and they take up space, so they've got to be good for something. But I have always wanted to be a mom. I've always wanted to be a woman. I cannot understand what it's like, but I can respect the hell out of it. You don't have to understand something to respect it.
I think it's weird that in a world where nobody wants anything binary in their life, everybody wants to go out and they want to be able to choose from 100 different cars. They want to go to the supermarket and choose from 84 different types of tomatoes. They want to go. They want to be able to go on holiday to anywhere in the world with any weather conditions they could possibly think of. They want variety and they want experience and they want diversity in every element of their life until it comes to people. And then they want to say there's only two types of that. You know what I mean? There's only two types of people in this world.
Shall I do it?
Go on then.
Shall I? Did you know, Malli, there are 10 types of people in the world?
Right.
Those who understand binary and those who don't.
Good, isn't it?
It reminds me of one of my favourite jokes, where there are two types of people in the world.
Right.
Those who can extrapolate from incomplete data. I can't take any credit for it, but I've always liked it because it makes me feel a bit clever.
It's a great line.
Yeah, and that's one of the things about about doing comedy again is the diversity that you see amidst people. Well, one thing I was not to be like name droppy, but I was only talking about this the other day. I was on a TV show called The Ranganation. With Ramesh Ranganathan, and the point of that show was that we had this group of people that were Ramesh's Ranganation. And we were supposed to represent a cross section of the great British public. So we had we had everyone in there. Queers, different ethnicities, religions, and blah, blah. But one thing that we noticed, by the time we got a couple of seasons in, we realized that fundamentally we were all the same person. Like at the core of us, there was a sense of ethics and decency and fairness and acceptance with every single one of us. It doesn't matter whether it was like really blokey Jim from Scotland, who was a dog father, husband of very sort of heteronormative, been with his wife for 40 plus years, 2.4 children. I don't know where he got the half a child, less than half a child from. But when it came down to it, we were questions, right? We were all fundamentally the same. We were fundamentally the same person. And I think when we talk about I'm not going to go into the evils of religion, but most people, even those that claim to be religious, are just getting on with their lives. You know what I mean? Like most people that say I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, I'm a whatever. They don't understand what their religion is. They haven't really read the books. They're just doing what people say they should be doing. And like there are like I always say I hate people. I don't hate people. My depression and my mental health has made me dislike people, especially people in numbers. for a very long time. And like to sort of swinging back to the mental health thing that we started on, like in the last year, I've changed my life entirely. I was at a point where I was so low, I was so out of it that I had to say to my wonderful girlfriend, "Can you come to Wales?" Because we live in separate cities, and I said, "Can you take some leave from work and can you come to Wales and quite literally nanny me? Because if I'm not going to be here much longer. If we can't do this, you know what I mean? I'm done. I'm completely checked out." And she did, and she managed to wangle it because she can work from home, which means she can work from home from Wales as well. So she took leave and she made it. So she was with me for like 3 weeks, and she literally held my hand, and is still very much holding my hand now. But we started together. And I joined the gym, and I tried to start looking after myself, eating better, and just getting physically fit and physically more resilient and challenging myself a bit more to do things. And then over the course of the year, now I'm a completely different person to what I was a year ago. A completely different person. I'm running, like I can run 5K now, like, without stopping, you know? And like the importance of like physicality in terms of mental health and stuff like that, and nutrition. Oh, don't get me started on nutrition. My girlfriend, she's going to start her master's in nutrition next year, and it's all plant based. I'm not going to go on a vegan wanker rant, but like the link between poor mental health and poor nutrition is ridiculous. You know, the link between not drinking enough bloody water, one thing that we're all supposed to do, you know, that we're supposed to instinctively do to keep us alive. Most people don't do, you know. So I'm back from the void. Thankfully, I've never attempted suicide. I've been bloody close, you know. But I do have I've got my kids and all that, you know, and reasons to be here. And weirdly enough, there's sometimes been a resentment of those things. I have those, you know, when
I can relate.
Yeah,
I wish I didn't have those
if I didn't have this, if they weren't here, I'd be able to not be here. And then it got to when I was at my most ill. Those are the thoughts I was having. Like, I wish I didn't have these attachments. I kind of resented. I was angry at the fact that I had them and they were keeping me here.
Because they are a responsibility.
Yeah.
And at the time, what that means is you're going to have to put the effort in to get well.
Yeah.
And it is just easier to turn the light off.
Exactly. And then apparently it's an ADHD thing as well, where the feeling of it's like not wanting to exist. Like I don't want to die, but I don't want to be here. I simply just don't want to exist.
Just don't want.
Yes. And that's like apparently that's quite common amongst people with ADHD, is to have that desire for oblivion as opposed to anything else. Like, you know what I mean? But and you know, everything sort of ties in what we've been talking about for the last, you know, hour or whatever we've been talking. It's all it all sort of comes full circle to how good comedy is for all of us.
Yes.
Isn't it? You know what I mean? Like with, you know, you've had horrible tragedy in your life that I couldn't possibly relate to. I've never experienced loss. I've never experienced, you know, I've only lost my father, and that wasn't the biggest thing in the world. We weren't the closest of fellows, you know. And then, you know, I can't relate to Abby's experience, is, you know, with a dysphoria. Like I know that I know that I'm not straight. It's quite funny. My girlfriend was talking to people in work the other day, and she's very feminist, like very, very feminist. And she always says, you know, she always says to people, and she says to my daughters and all that, never marry a man, never let a man put a baby in you. No, do you know what I mean? Like, because that's, you know, that's the patriarchy, and you know, it's not all men, but you know, there's enough. And then one of her friends went, what about Malli? And she was, oh, he's not straight. It was one of the first things that she vet when we started talking. Right, our vetting process. We both knew we were vegan, so that was fine. And then our vetting process, she went, "Are you straight?" And I went, "No, not entirely."
Straight enough.
Yeah, not entirely. You know what I mean? I'm not gay. I'm not even sure that I tip into bisexual, but I've kissed enough men over my life to know that I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm not a straight person. And my question to her was, "Have you ever voted Tory?"
That's a great question.
Yeah, and that was
This is brilliant for Ava the Lemming because who is incapable of spotting a red flag.
Just
The only red flag she has ever spotted in the stories she's told me about failed dates and everything else.
Caravan murder guy.
Caravan murder guy. She was so proud of the fact that she did pick up one red flag, and that was he was a Tory.
Yeah, that's just like, oh, I'm out.
I counted in that story and her retelling of it. I counted no less than a dozen or so. I was sat here on the podcast counting on my fingers every red flag in that story. And then she went, I did, however, notice as soon as he said he was a Tory, that was it. I was out. She'd missed like a dozen or so red flags by that point.
Yes.
But it is important.
Autistic,
It is
no?
important.
You
Yeah,
can only see them in the rearview mirror.
exactly.
Yeah, I would say just going back on the whole people thing and how, you know, at the core, no matter how different we are externally and everything else, that good people are good people, right?
Yes.
And there is something that connects us all. When I transitioned and the way I went about it was I took a week and a half off work. I prepped those who needed to know, my manager, senior manager, HR, obviously, all that sort of thing. And on the first day of my holiday, there was an email that I prepared and sent to my manager to send out for everyone. And it was going out on the Wednesday at 12 o'clock. I'd gone down to my mum and dad's in the morning. I had to sit down with my auntie and my uncle, my mum's brother and sister, explain everything to them. Driving home from 12 o'clock, my phone did not stop pinging. I was getting messages, I was getting texts, I was getting WhatsApps, all sorts of stuff. I got home, I logged into my work laptop. Teams was just full of messages. My inbox was just piled up with messages. People I'd known for 20 years, people I didn't know at all, people I vaguely knew existed.
Yeah.
And every single one of them was exactly the same. And it was hard for me to process a lot of it because I said to you recently about how I was nearly in tears after a gig because so many people said so many nice things to me. I don't feel emotionally equipped for success. I felt the same then. I was in tears because I had so many people, but they were known to me or strangers or passing acquaintances, saying the weirdest of things to me. You're an inspiration. You're one of the bravest people I know. You're this, you're that. And all positives. And people I worked with, some of the guys I worked with who were like, told my wife about you, showed her your email. And I wrote an article a couple of weeks later that went out for Trans Awareness Week, which in fact went out that week. The day I returned to work, I hadn't even planned it.
Right.
Was the start of Trans Awareness Week.
Oh, wow.
So they're like, right, so you've got to write an article. The article had 2,500 views around the company. It had about 300 reactions to it. And it had about 100 comments or so on, all positive. There's one or two negative, but it was negative experiences from other trans people who'd had negative experiences with various healthcare services. Very off the wall, right?
Yeah.
Left field. The amount of people who were like, "Oh, show my wife this. She thinks you're so amazing." I was chatting to one of the managers in work, and I could see him turn around and talk to someone and come back. It was on Teams, and he said, "Abs, can I ask you a favour? I don't want this to sound weird. My wife's about to leave for work, but she really wants to meet you. Do you mind if she jumps on a second and has a chat?" And again, someone I don't know, she only knows me from the fact I work with her husband. And she's like, "Oh my God, you are so inspirational. You are this, you are that." And I didn't know how to react to any of that. That was just insane. But also, it made me so happy on the inside to know that so many people, so many decent people exist.
Yeah.
And it totally blew my mind. I thought I'd have 20% of people who were really behind me.
Yeah.
I thought there'd be then 75% of people who were like, yeah, whatever, get on with it.
Indifferent, yeah.
And 5% of assholes, to be blunt. What the experience taught me in work and in most of my outside life as well at the time, that was more like about 60 or so % of people were totally behind me.
Yeah.
Which was mind blowing. There was I'd say less than 1% of utter arsehole. I have experienced a handful, but in nearly 200 comedy gigs, I've come across about 3 situations.
Yeah.
That's not bad odds, is it?
It's not really bad odds at all. And it's nice to be able to look at it and frame it that way. Because especially when it impacts mental health, is that 1%, unfortunately, it's the number that will stick with you, especially moving forward. Because especially when you've had a bad day, if you're laying in bed at night, you don't lay there and think, 60% of people said I was great and supported me. What you think is, that person said I wasn't genuine. That person said that I wasn't, not me.
Yes.
That I wasn't this. That person said that I wasn't that. And that's the downside of the mental health and having depression, is that the bad stuff seems to stick much harder than the good stuff does.
Yeah.
So to be able to sit here and just acknowledge that experience and say, this was my experience, and obviously it's not going to be the same for all trans people.
No.
There is you were fortunate in that sense that you were in that environment where so many people were supporting. There are people in the world who just want the best for people.
Yeah.
And it's and to see people live in their truth, and to see in any regard in life, in any respect, whether it's seeing someone coming out of an abusive relationship and finding themselves for the first time and living their truth that way, or someone that's lived with dysphoria for so many years and is able to say, this is me now, to the world, and then have people rock up behind that, or just anyone, we were talking about, we were talking about your brother earlier. Your brother didn't have a support system, system in place,
When he came out when he was 26, I mean, there were signs he was gay, we're honest. Like his obsession with the Barbie dolls and things like that when we were little, and the fact that he was consistently bought toy guns, cars and things like that, and Lego. And whilst my other brother was making Lego robots and tanks and things, he was making a house that he could decorate. There were signs. He wasn't a very camp person, but he was, he had that creative flair. And like so many gay people are so put together, and he was like that. And life and soul of the party, absolute party animal. But when he came out to a particular person, you know who you are. He said to him, I'd rather you were a paedophile.
Oh my God.
Someone who's supposed to just love him. And my brother left a diary when he died, which he wrote, was for me to see. And he wrote a lot of terrible things about a lot of people who had done him wrong. He was a world-class grudge holder. But every one of those experiences, he wrote them down. And that diary was full of things people had said to him for 30 years that had hurt him. And he couldn't let it go. Because at the heart of him, he was homophobic. And he couldn't, he wasn't like me, where I emerged unfettered by, I still have that initial reaction. But I'm able to look at that and go, that's not who I am. That is just programming. It's not who I am. I look at somebody and I'll go, I've just made a set of assumptions about that person, which are most likely wrong. He couldn't do that. And he assumed that there was something very wrong with him at the heart of it because he was gay.
Yeah. I can relate to that, because talking about the first thoughts and second thoughts thing, my dad turned around to me once and said, "I will be proud of anything you do in your life as long as you're not queer."
Oh.
Right, and that meant gay. It didn't mean any other.
Yeah.
It didn't mean
That
any
was
other.
the only
Any other.
flavour back then.
It didn't mean any other.
Yeah.
Flavor of queer. It meant that. And he said that to me.
Yeah.
And I remember, and I grew up. I'm the youngest of 6 kids, and I grew up with 3 older brothers. So everything was queer. Everything was what you bent, you queer. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. It's even an insult now.
yeah,
Strangely.
yeah. And when I didn't really come out as queer, to be honest. I just started being more me. Yeah.
Yes.
But one of the most important people in my life, I'm not going to say who it is, but one of the most important people in my life, who I'd held on a pedestal for so many years, turned around and said, "Well, if you were wearing a dress when I was out with you, I'd be embarrassed." And I remember at the time, I thought, well, I said, I'm done with, effectively done with this now, because, like I said, that's a fucking you problem. Do you know what I mean? that isn't a me problem. That's a you being embarrassed is a you problem. But going back to what you're saying about the sort of inherent homophobia in it, like I still have that now. I was only saying to Jo, my girlfriend, a few weeks ago that, in one moment I'll be watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, like my favorite TV program of all time.
It is so good.
And I'll see Raymond Holt, and I will be like, "That's the most beautiful man I've ever seen. I want to kiss him on the face." Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to kiss him on the lips, like right now. But then I will literally be like watching a different program, and like 2 men will kiss like passionately, and my brain will go, ugh, still. And it's like, how do I have that conflict in me? Like, I will see. There's very much a theme about the men that I find attractive, but I will see like Shuti Gatra, right? And I'll be like, oh my god, like look at that, like he melts me. You know, he does things to me.
In your dream.
In my dream, yeah. He's too young for me. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, oh my god, I'm 20 years. It's 20 years as senior. I feel a bit noncy even though he's in his 30s. But even that still kind of exists in me now. That because it was driven into me.
Yeah.
That I grew up in. I think we're all about the same age. So we like
70s kids.
Yeah, 70s kids. Where like we had growing up, we had our Uncle Tom, who was Uncle Tom was what at the time. I think he would have called him a transvestite at the time.
Yeah.
So just a man that dressed up, it had a proclivity or a kink for dressing up in women's clothes, but we never talked about Tom's sexuality. It was all very, when your mum used to do yeah. And that was really it.
And so British.
It's so British and so 1980s British.
Yeah. And there are instances where, like, I mean, I should talk about this, but like when I was probably about 11 or 12, I joined St Michael's and All Angels Choir in Bristol. That was the year I was going to be entered for Choir Boy of the Year, by the way. But I was taken out of the choir because the choir master was gay. But in the heads of the people that removed him from the choir, gay meant paedophile.
Yeah, actually, my daughter's 31 now. When she was 9, a lot of the parents of the school, it was a private school, she won a scholarship to.
Yeah.
We were very proud. And they got a new headmistress, and the headmistress used to live with the PE teacher. And they were almost certainly gay and in a gay relationship.
Yeah.
And the parents were like, did you know that they live together? And I was like, no. But I don't think it's any of our business what they do after school. They're both amazing teachers.
Yeah.
But what if they're...
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't
Yeah. But
it's got nothing to do with it. We have no right to ask.
Yeah. Nobody has.
I don't understand. This is why I don't understand transphobia. Because why are you so fixated on genitals? There's like a whole. That's 1% in the burn chart where you go. Somebody's been burned over however many percent of their body. It's 1%.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about 1% of this person.
Yeah.
As if, and it's the first thing you ever say about somebody. We talk about it before they're born.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you're pregnant. You've had sex.
Yeah.
What genitals are you carrying in there?
Yeah,
So
it's odd. Yeah, it's odd, isn't it? But the thing is, like, like there are less trans people on the planet than there are vegans, right? Like vegans, there's I think like 2%, something like that. And I think there's less trans people on the planet than there are vegans on the planet. But this is what we get into again. You see, this is where we get into the vitriol of it, because most of it is driven by misogyny, right? Most of it is driven by patriarchy, and anything that makes misogynist, and patriarchy feel uncomfortable is therefore deemed bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what happens is the reason that homophobia is rife, and the reason that people believe that being gay is a choice, which means that they have chosen not to be gay, right? Because there was a conscious choice for them. And it's the same when a straight cisgender man finds a trans woman attractive, all of a sudden in their head they're gay, so then they hate it and they resent it. And that's what it's driven by.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's what you get all the comments. You get people like Lux Pascal, right, who is entirely beautiful. Like she is the embodiment of femininity, right? You could not in a million years point at that woman and say that's a trans. You couldn't. It's impossible. You couldn't do it. But you get the we can always tell crave. You know, you can get we can, and it's like, well, I'll tell you what, mate. I guarantee you, that you were having a shandy with a pink finger at your bum before you got angry about it. Do you know what I mean? Because this is the reason that it feels such a threat to you. Is because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's either
It's evoked something in them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people.
That's what the problem is.
And people think that basically when minorities are striving for equality, people think that it boils down to jealousy a lot of the time. The immediate feeling people get is one of jealousy and resentment because you're getting something that I'm not getting. Yeah, like why are trans people all over the news? What are they getting that we're not getting? Well, we're striving for equality is what we're trying to. Yeah. We're getting that now. It's not removing anything from you. It doesn't take anything away from your rights. Yeah. Well, what about straight pride? Straight pride is every day of the fucking week.
Absolutely my next point. I was going to say that, and that's such a big thing. Women's straight pride. When you start getting oppressed for the way you are,
but yes,
have a pride.
Yeah,
and you know what? I could have a straight pride party here today. I could celebrate my straightness right now, and you guys would celebrate with me.
Absolutely.
And you know what?
Ava?
Well done for living your feminine life. You're so straight, and you wouldn't resent it. Yeah. Great. Are there cocktails? Also,
I was about to say, and I'll be in the kitchen making cocktails.
She makes a fine cocktail.
Oh, I don't drink, do I? So I wouldn't.
Well,
appreciate it.
Well,
I'll try and create.
We can do some sort of mocktail arrangement.
Mocktails.
Sugar-free, natural, everything.
Well, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but and this is the thing, that the reason that the struggle, the fight is still going on is that people, you know, why do we still have pride? Don't they have the same rights legally now? And it's like when people say, you know, what rights don't women have under the law? They've got their equality now. But law is one thing. How the law is implemented is an entirely different matter. And that's where the inequality still exists for everyone.
Yes.
So much is open to interpretation on all sides. Yeah. You know, all of the trans rights bills and everything lately. There is so much interpretation on that. And they've put the onus on, this is the guideline, but it's up to you as an employer. It's up to you as a service provider. It's up to you whatever to make your policy, but this is just our guideline.
Yeah.
That's as wishy-washy as it gets. We're stepping away from this argument. We'll just make one or two little suggestions and, you know, we'll be over there in the corner.
But they say the law is silent, don't they? So that's what, and that's like with legislative stuff. Legislative, take a run up. But a lot of legislation for everything is intentionally vague. Joe works in like social housing, and they have to apply legislation to homelessness all the time. But there's always a debate about whether that has been that legislation has been implemented correctly, which is weird because if you think if you've got a set of rules, and then you can have a debate over whether those rules are the right rules that you apply to it. It's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, that's why people use.
This is why we need case law. Because case law goes, how has this been applied and does that make it right? And we're going back to
everybody being the same. We all do have this moral code in the middle of us that we know what's right and we know what's wrong.
Absolutely.
And what we know is wrong is that people are treated as less than for whatever reason. But you're right. There is this terror that if we allow trans women to use a toilet, well, that somehow takes a toilet away from me.
Yeah.
And, actually, my daughter, when she was 3 years old, and we lived in Cannock, which is a fine part of it's not. We lived in Cannock, and she was with the worst childminder the world has ever seen. But she looked like a good childminder. We were totally fooled for a short while. And this childminder allowed my daughter to run into a Tesco toilet on her own.
Right.
And the little one was aged 3. She ran into a Tesco toilet where she witnessed a man stab a woman to death.
Oh.
In a toilet and run off with her hand up.
Right.
So my 3-year-old was a police witness. We were ever so proud of her because she's, again, autistic. We have no idea because back then it wasn't safe to be autistic. It is now. Get out. But back then, we didn't know that our 3-year-old was autistic, but she was an amazing police witness. She told the police everything about this man, the shoes he wore, the hoodie he wore, what kind of jeans he had, what he looked like, how old she thought he was, all of this because she was a little witness. And they caught him and he did go on to court because she gave this amazing description. That woman who died in that toilet that day was not protected by his male clothing.
No, exactly.
His male clothing did nothing to save her. And you know what else? It wasn't like a force field at the door that stopped his male clothing from entering the toilet.
Yes, yeah.
He was able to gain access. No one remarked on it. And I don't have a problem with a man in a female toilet at all. I have no problem with it. In fact, I would encourage men who have daughters not to take them into male toilets.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that women do in women's toilets that isn't behind a door.
Yeah.
If we're going to be honest. Women like a cubicle with a closed door.
Yeah.
And we like it to lock and we like a little hook for our handbag.
Yeah.
Because we're demanding.
Essential.
And probably a hook for your coat as well. Because no one wants to tinker in a coat.
No.
You just do. So is that a bit much?
No, that's fine. That's fine.
But so why would we not allow men in there? There are things men do in their bathrooms that I don't want to see.
Yeah, like piss everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there is that. I had to teach my partner about the Cheerio challenge when he was toilet his little one.
I don't know what's the Cheerio challenge.
You put a few Cheerios in the toilet and then you teach the little guy to aim at them.
Oh, okay.
And then it means they tinkle outside the bowl less.
There's the inevitable runoff though, which unfortunately it's when the pressure drops.
Yeah.
It's when the aiming becomes an issue. You know what I mean?
Yes. That's why you need Cheerios.
Yeah. We've had the discussions a few times about our love of Bristol and gigging in Bristol.
Yes.
And that is a place that's doing things right.
Yeah.
There is a beautiful little venue. I've played there a couple of times called Wardrobe Theatre in the Old Market Assembly. And you go to the toilets are upstairs. There are 2 rooms.
Yeah.
One is clearly marked urinals, and one is clearly marked cubicles.
Right, okay. Yeah.
But I was in that film.
Yes.
Yeah, in a film.
I was in a film. I was chased by a man with fever.
Oh.
I know. It was quite good. I felt really good because the director said to me, so how long have you been acting? And I was like, 27 minutes.
27 minutes. Nice.
It was great. It was great fun. The first stage direction I had was mother runs towards door. I was like,
I can do that.
A giraffe. But all they wanted was the look of Frank, like just flying.
Okay.
Bang on the door. It's great.
Yeah.
But they had a toilet, just one toilet for everybody, with a sign on the door saying there is a urinal in use in this toilet. And I was like, is it in use right now?
Right now, yeah.
No.
Is it?
And when I opened the door, it was in use at the time. I'm not totally comfortable with that. Not because he could be trans.
Yeah.
Not for any other reason other than he had his what's it out and was peeing at the time. And I was like, I don't want to witness it. But that's fine. If we could put a little door around it, that would make me happier.
Yes.
But you know what? No one died.
No,
It was fine.
That's it.
Ultimately, like every toilet in everyone's house is gender neutral. Like,
Well, yes.
Exactly.
you know what I mean?
Except this is totally
yeah. But yeah, ultimately now they're all gender neutral. Aren't they?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And nobody ever moans about it. Like, you know, but they, like, I mean, women do because it's everywhere.
But we do like a moan.
But why?
In fairness.
You know, you think about it. You get invited to someone's house for a house party. There are 20 people, mixed genders.
Yeah.
We're going to use the same bathroom at some point, each and every one of us.
In fact, I'd rather you did.
Well, absolutely, yeah. I haven't yet found.
She's not disgraced herself.
I've been very good. I've been very well behaved so far.
Well done.
It's quite weird. I think it like the whole like the trans women are monsters thing. The fact that you're pointing at someone and saying your penis makes you a monster in this specific environment, but no one's pointing at cisgender men in any other environment and going, your penis makes you a monster, your penis makes you a monster, your penis, because I sort
of think there are women that do that if we're going to be honest.
Well, no, there are. Yeah, there. I mean, but the thing is that there's more of a precedent of straight cisgender men being a monster than there are of trans women being a monster. Do you know what I mean? That's the numbers are,
and it's a tiny minority of a tiny minority.
Yeah, the problem is that because we have social media now, we know so much more about the terrible incidents.
Yeah.
And we didn't know about them before. But, you know, I was telling you that when I was, my boobs came in when I was 11. And when I was 12 years old, my brother was 4 and people thought I was his mother.
Oh.
I haven't grown an inch since I was 12 years old. I was like a monster. And I was in primary school, as head and shoulders above everybody else. And then I watched them all grow to be taller than I am. I'm devastated. I thought I was going to be tall and interesting.
Yeah,
but no, I'm like diminutive, round. Which is one of my favorite jokes where I describe myself as a Russian doll because I'm short and round and full of myself.
I love it.
But this led to some really difficult situations because I was a little girl.
Yeah.
And my father's friends would fill me up. And he thought it was funny. He thought it was funny. And all of those people now, you know, there's been a change of attitude now. Thank God the world has changed in that way. Because my daughters would not put up with that. But I put up with it.
Yeah.
And I put up with it into adulthood. And during my marriage, I was very protected from the world. When I came out of my marriage and I started to do crazy things like working in comedy and I'm out on my own. And, you know, I was walking home the other day, parking was a bitch out there. And I was walking home, it was about 2:00 in the morning. And I parked my car a little far away and I was nervous, as every woman is on her own.
Yeah.
And as I was walking up to the house, a man ran up behind me, grabbed me around the waist, and started to sing, I could have danced all night.
Oh.
He thinks this is hilarious.
Yeah.
And he had his hands on me.
Yeah.
You know, my reaction to that is not, oh my God, he knows the words to a musical that I loved my entire life. My reaction is, this man has got his hands on me. I know you're going to be stunned, but he was not wearing a dress.
Yeah. It's funny. I saw a comedian recently, and she put out to the crowd, you know, guys, what's the worst thing that can happen to you on a first date? You know, and all the men are like, oh, she, you know, stupid, like asinine stuff. Or she has hairy armpits, or she votes this, or she votes, she's got bad breath of that. And she said, that's funny because as a woman, ours is being murdered.
Yes.
I mean, that's the worst thing that can happen to us on a first date.
Yes, we have to. Somebody has to know where you are. You have to have an escape plan. Also, you shouldn't get into his car if you don't know him and get driven to a caravan graveyard where you need to get murdered.
No.
But at least
he told me that.
But at least he's, you know, at least you're kind of able to tour.
You've learned
so I did find out. Yeah.
You've learned from that, and you've learned about, you know,
the funny
not going to lay-bys with no cameras.
Yes, I know now not to do that.
Yeah.
Don't go to lay-by with no camera. don't go up a hill in Surrey with a guy that you've never met before.
No.
But you are going to get murdered, aren't you? You probably have been. That's why you're a ghost. That's what being a ghost.
Ghosted, but in a new fresh way.
Yeah. Funnily enough, it's all, I know it's all woke these days. But I like recently I went to a gym class, and there's this really sweet young woman. She's at university in Lincoln, and she does the classes, and she's tiny. She's this tiny little thing. And I'm there with my girlfriend, and we were chatting, and I said, "Do you live local?" Because it was dark. I said, "Do you live local, Jess?" And she was like, "Oh, I'm over in the halls of Red." And I was like, "Do you want a lift back?" And if I was on my own, I wouldn't have even made the offer. I wouldn't have even said, I would have said, "Are you getting home safe? Do your friends know where you are?" Blah, blah. But because Joe was with me, I thought it was more of a safe bet. But then, at that point, I made sure I said to her, "Text somebody in your halls now and tell her that you're getting in a car with someone called Malli and someone called Joe from the gym, and they're just going to run you around. But just let someone know that that's where you are." Because the weird thing is that like the not all men brigade out there. I'm going to go a bit of a soapbox. You can edit this out. I'm going to go a bit of a soapbox. The thing is, obviously, I don't identify as a cis man, but I'm masculine enough to know that my presence around women could feel concerning to them. So, we need to take onus. We need to take responsibility for some of the things that we do, even if we're convinced that we are not one of those men. Like for instance, like I did with that young woman. I made sure that somebody knew where she was, who she was with, and what the situation was. Even when Joe and I got together for the first time, we've been together for like 3.5 years now. But even at the time, I was like, right, have you told a friend where you are? Have you given them my address? I want you to give them my full name, my full address, you know what I mean? Take a photo of my driving license and send it to them if you need to. And it's even like little things. What I will do is if I'm walking at night and there's a woman walking in front of me, I will stop and I will wait until that woman's out of sight. Right? So she doesn't think that I'm a threat, that I'm closing in on her, because like men don't have to think that way.
No.
Men don't have to plan their route home. No. It's not something that I would ever have to do. I don't have to. I can walk through any dark alley, through any park, anything I like, and I'm in very little danger. Yeah. But it's important that men take responsibility for some of these things, and don't walk directly behind a woman who's working across the road. Go across to the other side of the road.
But the weird thing is, right? I was at a gig in Pontypridd, and I do it.
Sorry for your
set. I often have, as part of my set, I say that I'm single and I've been out hunting for men. Yeah. It's funny.
Yeah.
Right. And all my stories are true stories of things that have happened to me, because I'm a bit oblivious and I don't realize what's going on until it's happening. But I did this story in Pontypridd, and I came off the stage and I was in the crush of people at the bar going to get a drink. And I realized a man was standing really close to me. And I looked up at him and he looked down at me and he said, "You're very funny." And I said, "Thank you." And he said, "Are you honestly single?" And I said, "Yeah." And I don't have a problem with a man shooting a shot. I find it flattering sometimes. And he said to me, "Oh, well, you're doing something to me." And then I realized what I'm doing to him, because he's pressed up against me.
Oh, right.
Right. And having a little bit of a dry hump thing. So I was like, "Bleh."
That's impressive, mate. Well done.
So I kind of removed myself. After a gig, you know what you're gasping, right? But I just removed myself, and I thought, right, I'm not okay with this. And I was actually at this place with another comedian friend. Takes her 40 minutes to leave anyway, honestly, because she knows everyone in Wales and she has to hug them all. And I'd gone in the car with her and the chap that she was seeing at the time. So at the end of the gig, I was a little bit sickened by this, but it's okay, because this happens to women a lot. And you take it in your stride. You think, I haven't been harmed. It wasn't very pleasant, but it's fine. And so after the gig, I said to her, we were upstairs, and because I have to go down on crutches, I said to her, "I'm going to go downstairs now. Really hot up here. I'll see you when you come down." She said, "Fine." So I started down the stairs, and I realized that man is at the bottom of the stairs. And he was watching me go down the stairs. And he said to me, "I've fallen down these stairs. And now, as a woman, I now have to think, what does that mean? Is that a threat, or is it conversation?"
Yeah.
And I thought, it's probably conversation. And it's like, oh no. I hope you were okay. And he said, I've got a scar. I was like, okay. And I got down to the bottom of the stairs. I said, okay, good night. I'm dismissing him.
Yeah.
Right. And I walked out, and the fresh air was lovely. And they had like a bricked up window with a little windowsill. And I thought, I'm going to sit there, because if I sit somewhere else, he can sit next to me. But I'm going to sit in there, big brain. I'm going to sit there. There's no space for him to sit next to me. I'm going to be fine. I wasn't fine, because I sat down on the civil ledge, and then he came up to me and said to me, do you want to see my scar? And I said, no, thank you. No, I don't want to see your scar. And he put his hands on the wall.
Oh, that's such an aggressive
and he bent
move.
his head down, and he had his head right here, like tucked against my boobs, and he had a scar on the top of his head from where he fell down the stairs. I'm literally shaking.
It's a horrible situation to be in.
But I was cringing back, and I was saying to him, could you please step back? Could you please step back?
Yeah.
And I literally shake talking about it, because I was afraid.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And I was making it clear to him I did not want his attention. And he had his arms on either side of me, and there was nowhere for me to go.
Yeah.
And then my friend came down the stairs with her man. He looked at this, clocked what was going on, and said, she's with me, mate. And he went, oh, sorry. My no is not enough.
Yeah. But it took another man to, and this is what we're saying about accountability for men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It took another man to stamp their authority on a situation so a woman would be left. And it's sickening. And because in that situation as well, it's not just the situation of I'm in this situation. Like if you were a man in that situation, so it was a man on a man in sort of an aggressive posture situation, it's perfectly socially acceptable for the person underneath to swing out and knock the guy out. But whereas what a woman has to do is you have to think 5 steps ahead in that situation now. It's not just a case of how do I escape this? It's if the manner in which I escape it upsets the person, how is he going to react to me doing that? So if I'm aggressive with him, it's going to make it worse for me.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Absolutely. And it's not just a case of escaping.
But no, interesting you're saying about that, the accountabilities and everything else. Now, obviously, in my situation, I've got, I wouldn't say unique worldview, but I've got an abstract worldview when it comes to things like that. Because I was brought up, not necessarily drilled into me, but very much brought up with that ethos and mentality and everything else that you do not raise a hand to a woman. You do not, you do not do bad things to anyone, really. But, I was also a martial artist for 10 years.
Yeah.
Quite a high level. I've got a set of morals and I've got abilities to back them up a little bit, And I also hate seeing people being dicks. This is my absolute.
Shouldn't hang out in bars then, should you?
This is totally my recipe for a good life. I say it all the time at my own gigs when I'm emceeing. At the end of it, always, don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. Yeah,
that's what I was brought up as. My dad's ethos very much was just don't be a dick. And I try and live by that. For last year, I was in a situation in Barry Saturday night down at the bar I go to all the time and run gigs there. There was a lad there. He was drunk. He was off his face. On whatever he was off his face on. I can throw an accurate guess out there. But he was in the bar. He was being disrespectful to people. He was being very shouty and aggressive, mostly towards women. Guys in the bar were very much, I was like, what the hell is going on? No, we can't do anything. That's our neighbor's son. We've known him since he was a kid. He's only young. They were making excuses. Giving reasons why they should not stop him from being a complete utter dick. And I was getting very angry about it. And I'd gone out at one point. He was out with two of the guys. Well, I was out with two of the guys talking to them. He came out and he was being very aggressive and shouty and everything. And I said, I tried calming him down. I was a little bit drunk, but I was still able to try and maybe I'm a little bit drunk, you know that.
She lies.
And the guy started being aggressive towards me, and he offered me the opportunity to, give him my very best punch, with the knowledge that he would then knock me out in one punch. I assess the situation, as you do when you have knowledge of things.
Yeah.
You assess that situation. It's like, am I confident in my semi-drunken state and having not kept up on my training and everything? Am I confident I could put this guy down in one shot enough that he's not going to hit me back? Really not.
No.
What's he got going for him? Oh, he's holding a pint glass in his hand. I really don't want to even start swinging a punch at him, thinking that might end up in my
coming
face
back at you,
before I even hit it. He was stood with his back to a plate glass window.
Yeah.
If I hit him, and I did do what I could be putting the guy through a plate glass window.
Yeah.
There are so many things that go through your mind, and I just looked at him. He said, "Come on, you little weirdo." And at that point, I looked at the guys. I said, "I'll leave you two to sort this out."
Yeah.
And I went in. He'd come back in, come back out. He'd started getting physical, pushing around some of the girls, and grabbed one of them by the throat and threw it to the floor. The owner of the bar and the bar manager, both female, went outside. We're talking to him. He started pushing them about. I was stood outside having a smoke. He tried getting back into the bar after they said, "That's it, you're banned, you're not welcome anymore." And as he was walking back in, I just went, "No." At which point, he grabbed me, and to throw me to the floor. I won't go into the details, but I didn't come out badly. I destroyed my knee. I was on a walking stick for a few weeks.
Right.
Doing stand-up on a walking stick because I blew my knee out and I hit the concrete. But overall, got the guy to the ground. 5 women piled in and just pinned the guy to the floor. The only interaction the guys from the bar had was to pick me up off me, back in the bar. And stand there protectively, going, "You okay, Abs?"
But again, there's no accountability for men in that situation.
The women who were in the bar, whether they were pinning the guy down or otherwise, all came in, and every single one of them either came up, gave me a hug and said, "Oh my God," or went, "You're a badass." And I was sat there going, I shouldn't have to be badass.
Yeah, shouldn't have, yeah.
Because there are guys in the bar who, if they live up to what they claim to be, shouldn't let any of that happen. It shouldn't be on a specific group of people. But at the end of the day, if I've got that strong sense of right and wrong, sense of justice.
Yeah,
I cannot see that thing happening. Whatever situation I'm in. The upshoot to this story was a few weeks ago. I was in said bar on a Friday night, stood at the bar, quite a few martinis deep with a friend of mine, and we were stood there chatting. And the bar owner was outside with a bunch of people who'd been drinking in there, and all of a sudden this guy starts walking in. I looked at him, vague recollection, and he came up. He said, "Look, don't know if you remember me. I'm that person."
Right.
And he said, "I've just spoken to the owner now, see if I could come in to apologise to you."
Right, okay.
And he came out with all this. I was having a bad day. This had happened. That had happened. This person had done whatever they'd done.
Yeah.
I was like, "Look, don't worry about it. I appreciate the apology." And then he followed it with, "By the way, you're hard as..." Which, I've got to say,
It's nice to hear.
Yeah.
that was such an ego stroke at the end of it. But you're guaranteed that you won't see issues in that place there.
We might see some issues because we're going to do a Karen night there.
Oh yes, we are. So they've been running the last couple of months. Karen's Diner None.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or it's just horrible to people when they're
Yeah. So I haven't been able to make them yet. I've been one a month, and they've both fallen on hockey nights.
Oh,
so go watch my hockey.
Yeah.
Season finishes
She has
next
a problem.
weekend. I do have a hockey problem. I have many problems. But hockey is most of them. So season finishes next weekend. So first Saturday in May. Anyone watching this who lives in the Barry area, put yourselves in 5 entry plus a lovely American diner style menu, and the worst service in town guaranteed.
So you're going as a punter, are you going to?
No.
She's the head carrot.
Oh God, let me do it.
We are
Seriously.
right. So we've got meet and greet Karen.
Yes, I'm not great. I don't know if you know, but my hands are always full when I'm standing up, so I can't carry a tray.
Right.
So I'm literally the world's worst.
Oh God, I want to do it. I want to be a Karen.
Yeah,
I want to. Yeah,
that sounds like fun.
I'll wear like a Hooters outfit.
we have actually.
We have a uniform.
I have ordered us matching uniforms. And Ava's daughter, Q, is also going to be there as
very reluctantly though. You might well. We might well have to sub you in, actually.
Okay, if I can do it, if I'm in the city, then if you want another waitress, I will by all means.
That would be so much.
I'll do it on skates.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens on this one.
Yeah,
and for future ones, we'll certainly bear that in mind.
Yeah.
But we're gonna give that a go. There's going to be like 3 sittings.
Oh, it'll be wonderful. Like, it'll be really good.
So that's 24 people in there.
I am not confident.
Oh, you'll be
my
fine.
Ability to Karen it.
You'll be fine.
I feel like I have mentored you very well lately.
She has. I've been properly bitchy this week.
We did a gig in Bath on Tuesday night, which was we did an open mic doing it. This was our first proper run out of it, a bit more refined, doing our double act.
Too savage.
Too savage.
Oh, right, okay.
And
it was.
In fairness, I was so proud of her at the end of it because I have not seen her comfortably say bad things to people.
Well, it's scripted though, isn't it?
Even me.
Yeah.
But we're getting there. Last night was unscripted. You managed to say bad things.
It's so much fun being a bit mean sometimes. Like it really like I don't like being mean. I don't like being mean, but I'm sharp and I'm quite good at it.
That's my problem.
Yeah. I'm and like I recently Tom Kennedy asked me to be a judge at his roast battle.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And he gave me a microphone for in between roasts, like, you know, and it was one of the best fun I've ever had because it was completely off the cuff, you know, completely ad hoc. And getting to be like a little bit mean to people.
Yes.
And no one taking offense to it because that's what they've signed up for, isn't it?
It
was wonderful. You know, it was really good. So,
I got to do that last night. I said to, the point is that we're scrapping over who's headlining and who's opening. Okay. And that's the premise. And we won't spoil it for all our hordes of people.
Okay. Get put together and it's not they're not clear as to who's doing what. And that's both of us. Will one of you open? Will one of you headline?
Yeah.
Yes.
We have a little.
So we had a little fight about it.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And neither of us really wants to open because we're both.
Yeah, because you're both headliners. Yeah.
Yes. And I said, Toby, just because you're faster doesn't mean you're funnier.
It was fun. We were both. We prearranged that we were going to glam it up.
Yes.
And we were glam.
We looked great.
We glammed that for a sports and social clubbing match.
We were in full glittery sparkles.
We were.
I had an evening gown on.
I had a black and silver sparkly.
Nice.
Like a proper cocktail dress.
Proper cocktail jobby. It was fantastic. So there's Ava coming out with that to me, and
she said to me, "You think you're a headliner?
No, you dress like a headliner. You're clearly an opener." And it's those low key, non-aggressive slights at each other. It's so much fun to do because we know we don't mean it. We know we're fine with that.
Yeah.
Even the other comics who were there who haven't seen us do that routine.
Yeah.
Owen was
the
only one because Owen had seen us do the double act on the Tuesday night in the back.
Yes, we did it fairly well.
And it went very well. ran very well indeed. Let's share my favourite joke. Should we do that?
Yeah, we should probably end with that.
Okay. I think we should do ending soon, shouldn't we?
Yes.
Let's just say, Malli, it's been such a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. It's been lovely. It's been really nice.
Utterly wonderful.
Yeah.
Shall we bow out the way we normally do?
Yeah, we'll do that.
So, lovely viewer. She's been Ava.
She's been Abi. They've been Malli. And together, we have been
absolute savages. Good night. You're a savage lady. And we'll just end on this moment that since working with Ava, I've come to realise everything I want in a woman. Because she's got it all.
I do.
She's got charm.
Sometimes.
Intelligence.
It's
beauty.
Can't help it.
The girls.
The girl.
The blue badge.
You bitch.
As well as breakfast muffins and pink.